Love is one of the most profound emotions experienced by humans, and its expression has evolved over centuries. The phrase, "I love you," is now recognized as the ultimate declaration of deep affection, but the question of who first said these words and how they became a universal expression of love is complex. Tracing its origins requires delving into history, literature, linguistics, and cultural traditions. Since ancient times, love has been expressed in various ways, but verbal expressions of love have changed over centuries. The earliest records of romantic and affectionate words can be found in ancient poetry, religious texts, and folklore. In ancient Mesopotamia, around 2000 BCE, a poem known as the Love Song for Shu Sin was written, considered one of the oldest surviving love poems. It was part of sacred marriage rituals and demonstrated how love was celebrated even in the earliest civilizations. This poem, though not using the exact phrase, "I love you," conveys emotions of devotion and passion similar to the modern meaning of these words. As civilizations progressed, different languages developed unique ways of expressing love. In ancient Greece, philosophers like Plato and Aristotle wrote about different kinds of love, such as eros, romantic love, philia, friendship, and agape, unconditional love. These ideas influenced the way love was understood and spoken about. The Romans, known for their literature and poetry, also contributed to the romantic expression of love. Latin phrases like "ti amo," "I love you," and "ama vincit omnia," "love conquers all," became widely used in poetry and literature. With the spread of Christianity, love became an essential theme in religious texts. The Bible, particularly the New Testament, emphasizes love in various forms. While the Bible does not use the exact phrase, "I love you," in English, passages like "love one another as I have loved you," John chapter 13 verse 34, reflect the deep emotional connection that later evolved into the commonly spoken phrase. Early translations of the Bible into different languages influenced the way love was expressed and understood. The English language, as it is spoken today, developed over centuries. Old English, spoken from around 500 to 1100 CE, had the word lufu, which meant love. During the Middle English period, 1100 to 1500, love poetry flourished, and phrases like "I thee love" were used in romantic writings. One of the most significant contributors to romantic language was William Shakespeare. In his plays and sonnets, love was described in beautiful and poetic ways. Though Shakespeare's characters did not frequently say, "I love you," in the exact modern form, his works helped shape romantic expressions in English literature. The first recorded use of the exact phrase, "I love you," in English is difficult to determine, as early spoken language was not always documented. However, written records from the 16th and 17th centuries contain variations of the phrase. Letters exchanged between lovers often included declarations of love, and as written correspondence became more common, so did the explicit use of "I love you." The phrase gradually became a standard way to express romantic feelings, particularly in Western cultures. Cultural interpretations of love also influenced how people express their feelings. In Japan, for example, open declarations of love were traditionally considered inappropriate. The famous novelist Natsume Soseki, who lived in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, once suggested that instead of saying, "I love you," a person could say, "The moon is beautiful, isn't it?" as a more poetic and indirect way of expressing love. This reflects how different societies have unique ways of verbalizing affection. The phrase, "I love you," became more widely used in the modern era, especially with the rise of literature, movies, and music. In the 20th century, Hollywood films, love songs, and romance novels popularized the phrase globally. With the expansion of Western influence, "I love you" became recognized and used even in non-English speaking countries. Today, "I love you" is one of the most commonly spoken and written phrases in the world. It appears in personal conversations, wedding vows, social media messages, and even casual expressions among friends and family. The phrase has evolved beyond romantic love and is now used to express deep care and appreciation for various relationships. Despite its widespread use, the emotional weight of "I love you" remains significant. The phrase carries different meanings depending on the context, the person saying it, and the relationship between the speaker and the listener. Some cultures still prefer indirect expressions of love, while others freely use the phrase in daily interactions. The journey of "I love you" from ancient poetry to a global expression of affection shows how deeply love is embedded in human nature. While the first person to say "I love you" in history may never be known, what remains certain is that love has been, and always will be, one of the most fundamental human experiences. The words "I love you" may have changed in form over time, but their essence has remained the same, expressing the deepest connection between people across generations, cultures, and languages.